Hey there, welcome to the Frameworks of Focus podcast. This is a show for creators, entrepreneurs, and builders. Here we talk about how to stay focused, master your attention, and get the right things done so you can do your great work. If you've been watching my videos, you probably know by now that I have struggled with digital distraction for a large part of my life, and I have had to work very hard to keep myself focused. Even now, after years of practice, optimization, and improvement, I still keep very strong guardrails up on my focus and attention because I know that as soon as they go down, my monkey brain comes out and it takes over. So I have a three-part system for keeping my focus in check. Part one is optimize environment and routines. Part two is distraction blockers. And part three is regular accountability. My optimized environment and routines looks something like this. And this is going to sound really detailed, and that's kind of the point. Creating a highly detailed routine of steps cements it into your memory so that your robot brain can take over and you automatically go through them. So I have a very specific ritual that I go through, and it's broken into three parts. Part one, before I walk into my office. Part two, going into my office. And then part three, sitting down and starting my work. Before I go into my office, I walk downstairs, I feed my dog, and then I fill up my water bottle. Then, when I go into my office, I place my phone out of reach in a box. I take off my smartwatch and I put it on the charger, and then I turn on my computer, bring up the software I need, and put on my noise-canceling headphones. These steps signal to my brain that I don't want to be reachable and that it's time for me to focus. Then, before starting work, I rewrite what I want to accomplish during my focus block. I start a timer, I start my focus playlist, and then I start my website blocking app and get to work on my task. My playlist is just calm electronic music with no words, and it tells my brain that it's time to focus and get work done. I keep my office pretty empty and clean without a lot of things to distract me. The only thing on my desk besides my monitor, keyboard, and trackpad is a Lego bonsai tree that I bought and built earlier this year. I also have some notes from my kids and wife taped to the bottom of my monitor to remind me of my why when I need it. This routine is strong enough now that I can do something similar in other environments, like in an airport or in a hotel or in a conference room at an office building. I just put on my headphones, I start my playlist, I start a timer, I start my app blocker, and then I get into focus. Part two of this system is distraction blockers, and I have 5 parts here. Part one is do not disturb mode. I use the do not disturb mode on my phone and laptop to block all incoming text messages and phone calls and notifications so that I don't see them come up. I also don't wear my smartwatch, like I said, so that I don't feel any buzzes on my wrist from any kind of apps, and I turn off all notifications on my computer. Part two is disabling the browser and deleting all unessential apps from my phone. I have an iPhone, and I use the screen time functionality to completely disable the Safari browser, and I don't have any other browsers installed on my phone. My screen time settings are password protected by a password that only my wife knows, so I can't even re-enable the browser unless I go and get her to help me. Part 3 is a website and app blocker on my laptop. I use one called Cold Turkey, and it lets me schedule block lists. A block list basically just says you cannot access these websites or these apps during this period of time. I have a block list of websites that are particularly distracting for me, and they are blocked during all waking hours of the day. These are websites that I never want to be able to access again because the only purpose they serve is to derail me from my goals. I then have other apps and websites that are blocked for certain hours of the day where I usually need to do deep focus work, but then I will need those apps later on for other things. Part 4 is a website and app whitelisting tool, and that's different from a block list, and I'm about to explain why. But the developer of Cold Turkey also makes another app called Micromanager Pro that is sold in a bundle with Cold Turkey. This app, instead of blocking a list of websites, lets you choose just a few applications or websites, and then you set a timer. And during that time, while that timer is running, you are only able to access the websites and apps in your whitelist. All others are blocked until the time runs out. This is great when the only thing that I should be doing for the next 2 hours is scripting podcast episodes or writing code. I can choose what apps and websites I need, and then I block everything else. Part 3 of my system is regular accountability, and this regular accountability comes in 3 different forms. I use all of them, not necessarily simultaneously, but I use all of them and they're all effective. So form 1 is personal accountability. I have an accountability partner, a person, who I meet with every week. We discuss our goals that we had the previous week. We report on progress for all of them, and we give each other advice, encouragement, and sometimes tough love when we aren't keeping our commitments. Form 2 of accountability is accountability to the world. This is telling those around you what your goal is, declaring it publicly so that you feel accountable to live up to the image that you have put forward to the world. Nobody likes being a hypocrite, and this form of accountability leverages that. Form 3 is accountability to a contract. When the first 2 forms have not been motivating enough for me in the past, I have used this to get myself to do particularly difficult things. I will set a goal, and then I will write a contract with someone else. As part of this contract, I will give them a signed check for a painful amount of money that is written out to a group or cause that I disagree with. The contract states that if I don't complete the goal within the given period of time with proof, then they have to send that money to the group, no questions asked. Often, we are more motivated by the pain than we are by the reward, and this form of accountability leverages that to its fullest. So these are 3 accountability tools that allow you to remove your willpower from the equation when focusing on your important tasks, and the more you use them, the better you will get at focusing. Start today by optimizing your environment, setting up distraction blockers, and making yourself more accountable for your accomplishments.